Good afternoon. Welcome back to Marty's Tying Bench. Day 2, another damsel. This one is a little bit stouter, and we're going to incorporate eyes and a little bit of flash. And if you saw the one yesterday, that's my nice, simple, light fly for delicate presentations. This one I'm using a little more robust hook. This is a Mustad 3906B and a 14. It's a 3X heavy hook. If you get a chance to target big fish on damsels, you might as well get a stouter hook out there, so that's why I chose this one. Now, to install eyes, I found out early on I'm not very good at burning monofilament, and I'm only marginally better at burning monofilament with glass eyes on the end. So I found this technique. I wish I knew who to give it credit for. Simpler way to make glass eyes that work just fine. See, I've got a couple of glass eyes strung on some 5X tippet, and I get my thread started and get it right up close to the eye. Not too tight on the turns, because I need that monofilament to be able to move around. I'm going to make one crossing turn, and you'll see it flips those eyes up on the top, and then I need enough slack to push on those to get those eyes in line with the hook. A couple of X turns to secure it. I got those. I want those to crowd the eye up there. This is a pretty distinct feature on these damselflies is how much of a little lump they've got at their head, kind of a hammerhead I call them. Going to tie this one in a little darker Marabou. Again, you prefer something that's got a little bit of fluff out towards the tips. Now that tail's kind of ragged, but I'm going to pinch it to length. So tie it so that the resulting tail is going to be at least the length of this hook shank. And you're doing that mostly for consistency. I mean, the hook is not that much of a gauge. You can tie this on any size hook you want and have a dozen damsels that are all 1.5 inches long, but they're all tied on different length hooks. Now I'm going to come back here and find about the length of the hook, and then I'm going to pinch that off. And that reason for that is my hinge here where this wiggles is going to be in about the middle, so that should give me some good action on this one. Now I'm going to incorporate some flash. I got a few strands of lateral scale, but crystal flash, any fine cut flash will work. And just install that. Go back to my Marabou, and this time I would rather have a feather with finer tips, and I'm going to have to go to a different feather to accomplish that. That one is just a little bit too fluffy. See how the tips are fine on this one? I want to get a bundle of these. And I'm going to wrap the body with this one. I cut those tips off so that the taper can't help this thing squirt out from under the thread. Now you can use any Marabou to do this, but if you use the fine tips, you'll see how much more slender the body is. It's slender, but it's still got that Marabou fluff. And when I get to the front, I'll just tie it off between the eyes and give that a trim. Oops. Now my flash, I want to keep these turns relatively open. I just want to get 3 or 4 of them in there. You might decide you want more flash than that. Heck, you can make the whole body flash and see how that works. Now we're going to install legs, and we're going to do it the same or similar to the way we did it yesterday. This time I've got a hen soft hackle feather. I've peeled out the ones that I'm going to want to use. But what I'm going to do is tie that in right there. And now I can peel them back, one bundle for each side. And have some big, soft outrigger legs. Now, yesterday we used Marabou for dubbing. I can do that again. Or we can find some similarly colored dubbing. This one I've got some hare's ice. It's hair dubbing with some flash blended into it. It's not a perfect match, but it's easier to work with than the Marabou. And get a few of them in front, a few behind. Don't be afraid to sink your thread right down here into the dubbing. I'm trying to make that hammerhead shape. So the only thing really sticking out is the eyes. And when I get there, just whip finish. There you go. No name for this, damsels. This is just a bunch of animal techniques to put together. Decide whether you want flash, decide whether you want delicate, decide whether you need it to be heavy, decide whether features like those eyes are important. But, pretty easy tie, good looking flying.